How's the market? And in particular, how's the North End market doing? As a lifelong North End resident and a North Tacoma housing specialist myself, these are especially pertinent questions. So if you're ever considering selling your North End home, buying in the North End, or if you just like statistics, this video is for you. Let's start by looking at the year in review in 2021. In summary, if 2020 was kerosene, 2021 was rocket fuel. There was enormous explosive appreciation in home prices, and this is really evident in our backyard too. To put this in context, the median home price in 2020 was $455,000, ancient history. Whereas in 2021, that median home price had jumped up to a staggering $572,500. In other words, an over 26% rate of appreciation in just 1 year. Absolutely unbelievable. So what caused that? Was it cash buyers? Was it investors buying everything up? Not really, no. We did see somewhat of an uptick of cash sales, but that had more to do with homeowners having historic levels of equity. How does that work? So, generally speaking, the national average is 1 out of 3 home buyers are first-time buyers. What that also means is that 2/3 of home buyers already own a property. And what happened to home values for people who own homes in the last couple of years? That equity grew. And so a lot of people were able to tap those assets, whether through refinancing, home equity line of credit, good old-fashioned contingent sales, or something else, to use those assets to compete more effectively in the market. So it's not like there was a wave of investors taking over the North End. There are just a lot of homeowners who got lucky, who bought at the right time and enjoyed a wave of historic appreciation. The second factor is just good old-fashioned supply and demand. Everyone knows there's a pronounced housing shortage. In December of 2020 compared to December of 2021, listings dropped 11%, meaning the availability of supply due to COVID and other factors just was no longer there anymore, whereas demand has risen substantially. Some of the factors influencing demand include interest rates, which were historically low. In 2021, the median 30-year fixed mortgage interest rate was in the high 2% to low 3% range. And the other major factor, which I think will continue being one, is work from home. Why work in an expensive market, or why have a burdensome I-5 commute if you can just live in a more affordable place that has a similar quality of life? And that's what a lot of people concluded. And if you put all those things together, you have the recipe for historic levels of appreciation. So where's the North End now? As of today, first quarter 2022, the median overall home sale price is exactly $600,000. But as I've repeatedly said, the North End is not homogeneous. There are many North Ends. So for example, in the Highlands neighborhood near TCC, your typical home sells for around $400,000 now. Around Westgate, around $560,000. Proctor, about $620,000. And now, the new median single-family home sale price for the Stadium District is $1.4 million. And that brings us to another interesting observation of 2021. Luxury is now hot. Very fascinating stuff. If you look at 2021, check this out, more than half of all $1 million plus home sales in North Tacoma sold above list price and were on the market for less than a week before going under contract. Let me state that again. More than half of all luxury North End sales were bidding wars. And that sounds fantastical unless you consider why that is the case. If you just use your common sense and think about what $1 million gets you, it becomes really clear. If you look at really expensive home markets like British Columbia, where maybe $1 million gets you the dirt at best, you get nothing. Or consider the Bay Area in Southern California, where maybe you get a dumpy Craftsman. Or Seattle, where depending on the neighborhood, you can get a nice house for $1 million, but nothing too crazy. But in Tacoma, $1 million still gets you a really nice home. It's large, updated, and usually comes with a view. And many buyers concluded the same. And if you look back at work from home, where people with certain kinds of jobs don't necessarily have to live where their job is, or they can live much further away, they made the conclusion that their money could take them that much farther, even into the luxury bracket. And so that's a trend I think we can continue to see moving forward in the future. So what can we expect 2022 to bring for North Tacoma? In sum, we can expect similar conditions, but cooler. We'll definitely see appreciation, but it's more likely to be single digit and certainly not 26% like we saw last year. Buyer fatigue has a lot to do with that. And also we're just seeing more listings because when historic appreciation happens, sellers take notice and sellers realize they can make more money. But we're also starting to see is the emergence of what's called a dual market in the area, which means that higher than that median $600,000 average, you're starting to see slightly more balanced market conditions where bidding wars are not as guaranteed and buyers have a little bit more leeway. Whereas below that $600,000 mark, it more resembles last year, where bidding wars are much more frequent and it's still a crazy seller's market. In sum, North Tacoma remains a highly desirable area and it's still going to be a good year for sellers. Buyers are just going to have a little bit more wiggle room to get their foot in the door, which I think is good for everyone. As I've said repeatedly, the North End is not cookie cutter. There is a ton of subtlety in our neighborhood. So if you're ever curious about learning more, make sure to work with a specialist who knows the area. I'm always happy to take your questions. You're welcome to call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.